Do you still imagine the golden age of Hollywood as something glamorous and glitzy? Then you probably haven't seen Netflix's Hollywood, the new miniseries that reveals the darkest side of Tinseltown of the 40s.
Dreamland.
I want to go to Dreamland.
The show holds a lot of surprises, and so does its cast.
Sometimes you have to service.
One of the show's leads may become a new Superman. Another cast member has already replaced Daniel Radcliffe on Broadway. And there is also someone who helped to solve his mother's murder 45 years after it was committed. Are you all ears now? If so, keep watching the video and don't forget to subscribe to Rumour Juice YouTube channel to discover other exciting celebrity stories. David Corenswet. Is Hollywood based on a true story? Well, yes and no. Only 50% of it roots back to reality. For instance, the main character, Jack Costello, a World War II veteran who dreams of making it big on screen, is fictional.
Jack Costello screen test. Take one.
You also wondered for a moment whether he was played by Henry Cavill, right? Corenswet indeed looks very much like the Superman star, but we bet you could only see him in The Politician before, another series created by Hollywood showrunner Ryan Murphy. You might also remember him from House of Cards, where he portrayed Claire Underwood's love interest. Unlike his on-screen characters, David isn't into women twice his age. We guess so. Corenswet remains tight-lipped about his private life. You won't find any signs of romantic relationships after a quick scroll through his social media accounts. But you'll definitely find a lot of posts that prove how much David loves to fool around.
My eye hurts. It's okay, I can still see.
And how much he loves dogs.
I have an American Akita. His name is Cal. K-A-L, not C-O-W.
Oops, sorry, we mixed them up again. But for a reason. At the end of 2019, rumors started swirling that David may replace Henry Cavill in DC's next Superman movie. Corenswet had previously acknowledged his resemblance to Cavill and expressed interest in playing the Man of Steel in an interview with Entertainment Weekly. My pie-in-the-sky ambition is definitely to play Superman. Well, he has all the opportunities to satisfy his ambition. The future looks very promising for Corenswet, and we hope his lead role in Hollywood will light his way. Darren Criss. Does Ryan Murphy choose the cast for his new shows from the cast of the old ones? It seems so.
What's going on here? Like, are we getting naughty, or are we just like having tea and conversation?
Darren Criss, who portrays fictional director Raymond Ainsley in Hollywood, was previously on Murphy's Glee. Darren recently revealed that Hollywood was initially supposed to be even more raunchy. In fact, there were pages and pages just describing sexual encounters. How you shoot a scene is how it's written, and there's a margin of disparity. But it certainly did make the initial read-through a little terrifying. Oh, okay. We should have expected something like that from the show involving sex workers, but apparently it was too much for the actor. In real life, Criss is not just a successful actor, but also a talented singer. In fact, he used to be an outstanding theatrical performer before he switched to TV. He even co-founded his own musical theater company with some of his friends. One of its earliest productions was a Harry Potter musical, which was based on the books but took some liberties with their storylines.
Before that, you were known because you did this Harry Potter musical.
Yeah, that's right. It was called a Harry Potter musical, if you know. Yeah.
Criss played Harry Potter, and it turned out to be so good that eventually Criss replaced Daniel Radcliffe on Broadway. Not as Harry Potter, though, but as J. Pierpont Finch in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. What an entangled but strangely amusing story. Jeremy Pope. Archie Coleman, a black gay screenwriter desperately trying to break into the business, was portrayed and partly created by 27-year-old Jeremy Pope himself. This character is a collective image of an incredibly talented young soul forced to struggle against inequality,
How does a black man end up writing a picture about a white girl who jumps off the Hollywood sign?
And what about Pope's own struggles? When Jeremy was young, nobody appreciated his decision to pursue a career in performing arts. Jeremy's parents wanted him to study at the top-notch University of Southern California and to work at Disney, but he had other dreams in mind. It was hard for them to see me doing something without a job guarantee. Jeremy's father tried to convince him that an 18-year-old's decision to move to New York will have a very bad impact on their family. But Pope took a risk and jumped into the unknown to make his dream come true.
You are talented. That's not a debate. There's no doubt you are talented, but
Thank you, sir.
5 years later, Jeremy was already a Broadway star. When auditions for Hollywood came around in 2019, Pope was in the middle of musical rehearsals. He was very tired while recording an audition tape for Hollywood, and he didn't expect it to be successful at all. However, 30 minutes after submitting the tape, Pope got a role in Murphy's highly anticipated TV show.
This is our screenwriter, Archie Coleman. Pleasure to meet you.
You're colored. I love it.
It might have been a perfect mix of his luck and talent. Samara Weaving. Claire Wood, an aspiring actress who, despite coming from a wealthy and powerful family, has to prove her worth, is also a fictional yet bright character.
Claire, where does the mid-Atlantic accent come from?
The middle of the Atlantic.
She is played by Samara Weaving, and before you ask, yes, Miss Weaving is indeed related to V is for Vendetta and Matrix star Hugo Weaving. He is her uncle. Unlike her Hollywood character, Samara didn't have big dreams of being on camera, and she could only dream of Claire Wood's self-confidence and purposefulness. Samara explained in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter that her family moved around a lot, which led to a sense of instability in her life. I was sort of shy, so my parents put me in drama school to help with that. Acting ended up being Samara's coping mechanism. She once called herself the most anxious introvert ever. Her work is the only thing that really helps the actress to deal with social anxiety. It's kind of like therapy for me. I'm totally taking a vacation with my characters. Unfortunately, playing one of her characters caused some very unexpected troubles for Weaving. In 2016, Samara's picture from the set was used for a political hoax. Her face covered in blood, that of course was just makeup, was held as an example of the violence against Trump supporters. There appeared a viral tweet saying, "Here's what happened to female Trump supporter when she met peaceful and tolerant liberals." The actress tweeted back in bewilderment, "I'm not American. I can't vote in your country. This is so stupid." Even though Weaving is active on Instagram, she doesn't share many details of her private life. The 28-year-old's followers were once fascinated by her now-deleted engagement post, where she wrote, "You know you're loved when you can eat a ham and cheese toastie in bed and your fiancé says that's beautiful." It's a pity she got rid of such a nice message, but let's just hope she is happy with her fiancé. Maybe the lovebirds are just trying to avoid the limelight together now. Jim Parsons.
I am not just a star. I am a star maker.
Not only do we meet the new generation of A-listers among Hollywood cast, we also meet the industry's veterans like the Big Bang Theory star Jim Parsons. He plays Henry Wilson, a booking agent based on the real-life talent scout of the same name. The real Wilson was responsible for championing Rock Hudson and his other beefcake clients, many of whom were gay. Many assumed that all of his clients were gay, and these rumors surfaced partially because of Henry's own homosexuality. Wilson was also known for his objectively terrible behavior with the clients.
Are you fucking kidding? She's goddamn Scarlett O'Hara, you fucking hayseed.
There's probably only one thing Jim Parsons has in common with his on-screen character. Jim's sexuality has also been the source of media speculation for several years, until he came out publicly in 2012. From there on, Jim has never been nervous about being seen in a gay club.
I've gone to a lot of gay clubs in my time, and I've never seen that many naked people at once, ever.
In that same interview with Ellen DeGeneres, Jim admitted he can't do anything for more than 30 minutes.
You know what I find interesting, Jim, is that you say you can't do anything longer than 30 minutes, and yet you said hours and hours around those guys. Interesting. Very interesting.
When duty calls.
Wait, did it also sound a bit like Sheldon Cooper to you?
And yet now you're in my office, Point Cooper.
It's hard to believe, but Parsons didn't expect to get a new acting job anytime soon after The Big Bang Theory wrapped.
In the past year or so, when we were wrapping up Big Bang, I was like, I should really look into some other outlets because acting jobs are not guaranteed, and I don't know, what else do I do? And I picked up some watercolors at one point, and I enjoyed that very much. And I wanted to take a watercolor class.
We bet the role of Henry Wilson in Hollywood is not the last gig Jim landed. But for now, let's wish him good luck with his new hobby. Laura Harrier. In Hollywood, Laura Harrier plays an aspiring young actress, Camille Washington. The casting couldn't be more fitting, as Harrier is also one herself. Harrier, however, never dreamed of Hollywood. Her original career plan was, slightly different. I thought I'd be doing weird off-Broadway theater. She might be glad now that life had other plans for her. If you follow the actress on Instagram, you probably know that Laura is dating NBA player Klay Thompson.
Really, Instagram is so fake.
The couple often share adorable photos of each other from their trips. Another conclusion one can make from Laura's Instagram is that she has good pottery skills. Indeed, ceramics is one of the actress's biggest hobbies. In addition to that, she's a red carpet trendsetter and a member of the Louis Vuitton family. Laura often works with the brand's creative director to design outfits for the grandest nights in the industry, including the Oscars and the BAFTAs. How does she manage to juggle it all at once? Dylan McDermott.
But this movie is a hit.
While Ernie was probably the only Hollywood character who always ended up in a win-win situation, Dylan McDermott, who played him, was not always such a lucky guy in real life. The actor was born when his mother was only 15 years old and his father was 17. McDermott was 5 when his parents divorced. In that same year, Diane was shot to death in their home under mysterious circumstances. 45 years later, Dylan himself requested the investigation be reopened, and authorities determined that Diane McDermott was killed by her gangster boyfriend. After the tragic event, young McDermott was adopted by playwright Eve Ensler, who was dating his father at the time. They broke up eventually, but Eve and Dylan remained very close. Eve was actually the one who encouraged McDermott to pursue acting professionally. Moreover, when the playwright suffered a miscarriage, McDermott took on the name Dylan, which she had picked for her unborn child. Well. Don't you think all these real-life stories are worth being a plot of yet another hit show? Sure thing. Wait, it seems like we forgot someone. Jake Picking. Oh, who is this handsome guy portraying legendary actor Rock Hudson on the show?
The first thing that he said, he kind of cut down to brass tacks, was tell me everything you know about Rock Hudson.
His name is Jake Picking, and he can relate to his on-screen character very much, in some aspects. In a recent interview with the Oprah magazine, Picking shared his thoughts on playing Hudson, a Tinseltown A-lister who was unable to live freely as a gay man. He's a hero in my mind. He had to deal with the tragedy of not feeling like you can be yourself and feeling ostracized. The 29-year-old actor was also outcast at some point. After moving to Los Angeles, Picking went through the hard period of daunting loneliness. Jake coped with it by escaping into the world of old films. I remember going through a nocturnal time where it'd be all through the night watching black and white movies. Does the actor still have to cope with loneliness? Good question. We can't tell whether he's in a relationship now, and we are not even sure about his sexuality. However, back in 2018, Picking appeared on the red carpet with influencer Fiona Barron as his date and gave her a very public kiss. Who knows? Maybe there's a love story blooming somewhere far from the limelight.